Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Flea Market Finds, and this is going to be stuff that I picked at the Stafford Motor Speedway tie rod fall swap meet. This is a large swap meet that they have twice a year. It's called the Tie Rod Show, tie rod spelled T-Y. It's a pretty good sized show. Admission's $15, which is a little hefty, but often I find that I get enough deals in to make it worthwhile. As usual, I'm mainly on the hunt for machinist tools, but I'll buy other tools and other things that strike my fancy, including my propensity to buy vintage electronics and particularly vintage CB radio. If you guys are into vintage CB radio, you're going to love this episode because this is just the tip of the iceberg. I kind of went on a spree. I have too many of these mobile CB radios as it is, so I really am cheap about what I'm willing to pay for these, but it turns out some of these deals I got were pretty darn good. I spotted these two nice large genuine Vice Grip brand welding clamps at a guy's table, and was pleased to find out that he was only asking 10 bucks a piece on them. I think he had a third one that was a Chinese knockoff that I left, but these two genuine ones for 10 bucks a piece. I snagged those, and I also snagged these for 5 bucks. This style here, which is good for holding sheet metal edges together. It's got a little bit of damage from somebody welding, a little too close to it, but that's okay. And then I picked up another pair of the safety wire pliers for 5 bucks. You guys have seen these probably in past videos I've had, but for those of you who aren't familiar with what these are, basically these are pliers that have the ability to be locked closed. So you pull this to open it up, right? You run a piece of wire through a hole that goes through a nut and a bolt. And then that little piece of wire, you take the two ends, you clamp it in the end here, lock that, and then once it's locked down on the wires, you push, and it automatically will twist the wires closed, and you just, there's built-in cutters so you can cut off the excess wire. And that would be used on applications where you have a fastener that you need to have reassurances that it's not going to loosen up and fall off at high speed, like perhaps in a racing application or aircraft or military or something like that. But I got these for 5 bucks, and I typically end up getting 15 or 20 bucks for a pair of these. And then the first two CBs that I snagged of the day, again, saw them. I don't bother with anything that doesn't catch my eye, but these being Cobras or unit ends, that's a Cobra. So probably what caught my attention the most was this is the first 148 I've come across in quite a while. So the 148 is a 40 channel AM with sideband, so that's what makes this radio kind of nice. So it's the 148 GTL. It was a very popular radio back in the day. Still got the power cord on it. There was no microphone with this one. Of course, it's possible this is the microphone for this one. Is this a 5-pin? Some of these were, yeah, see, that's a 5-pin. That's got the 5-pin mic jack. So this is a 4-pin. So this would be the microphone that he had laying there to go with this radio. And this is the Cobra 29, very popular model. And there were several variations of this. This particular one is the WXNWST, which means it's got the weather channel built into it and sound tracker technology. The weather channel is kind of nice. You flip a switch and it automatically receives the weather report, right? So again, I have a whole bunch of these radios, but when the guy only wanted 20 bucks for the pair with the microphone, I figured at 10 bucks a piece, that's a heck of a deal. I mean, I think the 148, even as a parts radio, is probably worth the 20 bucks. And who knows, these might actually work. Then I spotted this guy had this Fluke DVM. First I thought I wanted nothing to do with it because it's another one of these early, probably like 80s vintage Fluke bench meters. And the problem with these, those of you guys who follow my channel, you may have seen a video a little while back where I tried to repair one that I had bought that was working, but it wasn't usable because the LCD display was all messed up. This one, the LCD display doesn't look bad, but the only way to know for sure is to power it up and try it out. And I don't think that these are tremendously valuable. Some of these models are pretty decent, what they bring on eBay. This one just being an 8012A, I don't think it's going to be one of those. But what I liked about this that it had going for it was kind of neat that it's in the original case. And of course the other thing was I got it for $5, so let me just start by saying that. Because if this was like 20 or 25 bucks, I would have, there's no way I would want it. But for $5 I took it, even if the meter's no good. I took it because this probe was in there, okay, which is a nice little long reach probe. This is to clip onto a lead of a component down inside an area where it's kind of tough to get to, and this will screw right onto the end of the probes that were supposed to come with this meter but are missing, but I think I have probes like that. But then this was also in the case, and this is what caught my eye. This is a genuine Fluke probe, and what this is this is a... So this probe, which is the Fluke model 82RF, is actually, it's a probe that allows you to measure high frequency AC voltage with the DVM. So this probe alone, if it were complete, it's missing, I think there's some interchangeable tips that go in here that are missing. I think this probe alone is probably worth 25 bucks on eBay. I am curious to see whether or not this meter is actually going to power up. Alright, so plugged in. Hey, actually powers on. So there's a very good possibility that this is actually a working meter. Do notice that the LCD display is not really crisp. The numbers are kind of a little bit blotchy, and that is common when these LCD displays age. That's not uncommon for that to happen. But it's not like the other one that I had, that the display was so bad you couldn't use it. And the same guy who sold me that, he had one of these Dumore hand grinders sitting there, and I picked it up and looked at it quickly, and you know, said that I already had a few of these and they were good grinders and everything like that. And he says, well, you can have another one for $5. And even though the cord's got some issues here on the end here, it's all taped up, and I have no idea if it works, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does. I think every single one of these I've ever bought, no matter how bad they looked, powered right up. So, you know, they might not hit the full RPMs that they used to be designed for, you know, originally, but these are kind of handy. And yeah, so even though I have some of these now for $5, yeah, I bought another one. And one of the first Machinist items I bought that day was guy had a few gauge pin sets, and he had 25 bucks a piece on them. There's actually two of them. They were almost identical. This one appears to be complete, and the hinges aren't broken on the box, which the other one had broken hinges on the box, just a plastic box. So he accepted my offer at 20 bucks on this one. I passed on the other one just because that one had, I think, a couple missing and the box was damaged. What he did have that I was going to go back and make an offer on later, but somebody had bought, was he had a ton of broaches. A lot of them Dumore broaches, or Dumont, yeah. Dumore's the grinder. Dumont broaches. He had some really large ones too. He wanted 150 bucks for the lot. I forgot how many he had there, or I forgot how much he wanted each. But my intention was to go back there and make him an offer of like 10 bucks a piece on some of the larger ones. But somebody snagged that deal, because when I went back, they were gone. That's okay. I have quite a few broaches in stock already. I haven't even begun to sell those, so I'm still not even sure whether or not they're going to make me any money. Then I just kept seeing more and more CB radios that I couldn't turn down. And I thought it was cool that I found that 148 GTL, and then I found another one. Again, no power cord, no bracket, no microphone, just the bare radio. But I got this radio and another one of these Model 29s, 10 bucks for the pair. So $5 a piece for these radios. Again, no microphones, no cords, no brackets. And then there was a guy who had a whole pile of radios. Some of his radios were a lot dirtier and grungier, but I did get these two for $5 a piece. This one I scored because, well, one thing, it's got a bracket on it with the original side screws, which is nice. It's another Model 29. This one's got the power cord with it and the microphone with it. So $5 for that guy. And this may be the only non-Cobra unit end radio that I bought that day, which was this cool old realistic 40 channel. This is a TRC 449. So those of you guys who know realistic radios know that this is also a sideband radio. This is kind of a hard to find mobile radio, so the guys who are into classic CBs are going to like this one here. It's in pretty clean condition for the age. No microphone, no power cord, no bracket, and it has been modded. There's a switch right here that does not belong, so this probably has extra channels in it. I would actually have preferred if this wasn't done, if this was all stock and it didn't have a hole in it where they put that switch, but still kind of a nice radio. And again, I'm only into this for $5. And then these are the final two CB radios I ended up buying that day. Paid a whole $10 a piece for these. Must have lost my mind. This one is a Model 29 NHST. NH, I believe, stands for Nighthawk. What's kind of cool about this, what I think the Nighthawk feature is that around these switches up here, this lights up. So I think there's actually backlighting that makes these glow at night, makes this radio kind of look really cool in the evening. It actually has an amplified hand microphone, the Diesel 4-2 amplified microphone. Unfortunately, it's missing the battery cover, and for whatever reason you can't key it. So I don't know what the heck's going on here. Should be easy enough to fix that taking it apart. Not that I'm going to bother, because again, it's probably a junk microphone. Yeah, look at this microphone is actually got a little issue here with the cord. That's all right. So if you're keeping track, yeah, that's 8 mobile CB radios that I scored. Oh, let's finish up with the CB stuff. I forgot about one of the guys that sold me the pair of radios for $10. Had this antenna sitting there and said I could just take it. Unfortunately, there was no whip to go on it, but I could find a whip for it if I really wanted to. But this is actually a Wilson 2000 Trucker CB antenna, so I think these were pretty decent antennas back in the day. I'll tell you what though, it's also missing, looks like it's missing the 2 set screws that hold the whip in too. Maybe they took this off because it's junk, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth risking the cost of putting a whip on it just to see if it will work. But this was pretty much free. And then early in the morning I spotted this D104 microphone, and I think I got this for $25, or he was asking $25 and I got it for $20. I'll have to check my notes, but it's a D104. So the issues it has is it's got a little bit of pitting on the chrome. I don't know if you heard that, but that was a jet on approach to Logan Airport in Boston. Anyways, a little bit of pitting there, and the main thing is it's missing one of the screws. Now the screws, not only are they chrome plated, but the screws are unique on these D104s because they actually have a head on both sides. So it's a weird screw. One of the screws has like a socket that acts like a nut that the other screw screws into, which makes them a little bit more difficult to sew. You're not going to find those at your local hardware store. Would love to know what the radio was this was on. This has got an 8-pin plug on it. So this might have been on a ham radio. Well, there we go. Too many CB radios. Another one of the early buys I found was a guy had a box of indicators, and he said any of those indicators are $5 a piece. A lot of them were old Federal drop indicators, which I can't do anything with those. I've got a few of them that are like near mint, and they don't bring that much money. But this Brown and Sharp Best Test was in there and works perfectly. So caught my eye. So I got this for $5, and just a week ago at my normal outdoors flea market, I scored a very nice Brown and Sharp Best Test indicator box, wooden one, for $2. So I'll put this right in there. Also for $5, I got this neat little depth micrometer. This is a early Starrett depth mic called the 446A. So what's cool about this little depth mic is the way that you adjust the rod is you actually you loosen this, and that allows this rod to come out, and then you remove sleeves as needed. So you've got a 1-inch sleeve and 2 half-inch sleeves, and then this moves half an inch. So with all the sleeves on there, you've got 0 to ½ inch range. And then if you want to go from ½ inch to 1 inch, you just remove one of these, and so on and so on. You get the gist of it. But it's hard to find one of these with all the sleeves on there. And then he had this deburring tool, Quick Burr, or Burr Quick, BURRKWIK. Handy little Burr Quick tool with a couple extra cutters in there. I got this for $1. And another guy had this plastic, this cheap import angle block set, and it looks like they only use one size in the whole set, and the rest of them are still wrapped in the original anti-corrosive paper. And I got this for $15, and unfortunately I cracked this case putting something heavy on it while it was in the car. Womp womp womp. Alright, coming down to the wire. There was a guy who had a oak machinist tool chest, and it was interesting. It was a good sized one, and he had it on a oak riser, and he wanted really big money for the boxes with the contents. And I ended up looking at the box more closely and talked to him about it a little bit, and convinced him to sell me this one item out of the tools that were in there, which is this Starrett, what is this? This is a Starrett number 25R. This is it's just a metal ring that's used to store all the little extra auxiliary tips for Starrett indicators. And they come fully loaded with a bunch of indicators, like little tips like that. Like the roller one is interesting. This one's actually got a spring relief, then there's a point. You get the deal. These actually trade for quite a bit still. I think they sell for around like $35 to $45 online. This one with the original box is probably going to be closer to the $45. I ended up getting this for $10. And then I explained to him I wasn't interested in the boxes at all, and I asked him if he didn't mind I'd give him a little bit of advice, and he said sure. And I pointed out to him what he didn't realize was that the oak box that was on top was an import. It was a knockoff. But the funny thing was, it was sitting on a genuine Gerstner riser. And I explained to him that Gerstner riser was worth far more than that toolbox was, because it was an original. So I recommended to him that he consider selling that Gerstner riser online for more money, and not worry about the box, and the contents that were in there weren't that great either. So anyways, another guy had not too much in the way of tools I was interested in, but I did spot in a box of stuff he had there this nice little number 0 Greenfield tap and die wrench, which I don't remember if there was a 00 in that series or not, but this is a very small Greenfield, and I got this for like $5 or $10. Though the small ones are a little bit harder to come by. They get misplaced often. Another guy had some stuff that wasn't too interesting, but one of the things that was nice was he had this little Starrett indicator attachment. So this will go on the stem of, or the shaft, or whatever you want to call it, of a Starrett drop indicator, and then allow you to be able to take like a measurement of runout of a bore or something like that, wherever you want to change it to make a 90-degree turn in the direction, and it's a 671 is the part number on that in the original case. Got that for $7. This is a helicoil that has has 5 helicoils left in it, and the drill, the tap, and the mounting tool. I got that set for $5. And then this is a Mitutoyo part number 45964. This is a new old stock Mitutoyo punch set. 5-piece center punch set, brand new, still wrapped in the plastic. Got this for $8, and I would have loved to have bought more, but this is the only one he had. And then on my way out, I happened to spot this Lixie brass hammer for $8. So this is a Lixie number 8, I think they call it, or whatever, but the key to this one is that this is actually a solid brass head. And it's a Lixie. Lixies, you can always tell they have this interesting design on the handle. I don't know why somebody painted it orange, maybe to make it more visible when they put it down so you don't trip on it or just spot it easier before you forget it somewhere. I don't know. All right. And the final item is something I saw earlier on, and I went back later and it was still sitting there, so I was able to convince the guy to let me have it for $20. So I took a chance on this thing for $20. This is a Johnson J Station. And what it is it's a effects processor for electric or bass guitars, apparently. It's very dusty, it's a little dinged up, but if it's in working condition, they actually still trade for around $50 on eBay. The key is it working? So that's where I kind of took a chance on it. No power, no AC adapter was with it, and this cannot run off of batteries like some of them. It's interesting, it's not a foot pedal. It's all of the processing and switching is done here. It does have MIDI control in and MIDI control out, which I believe stands for like multiple instrument digital interface or something like that. So maybe you can control it through the MIDI functions, I don't know. But anyways, I took a chance on it for $20. Well, that's going to bring this episode to a close. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing and maybe sharing the video. Until next time, happy hunting and take care.